Great, another problem to deal with.
When I awoke, I was in an unfamiliar house.
My legs are numb.
As I shifted my weight and looked around, I saw a bunch of grown-ups wearing black.
Who are they? Where am I?
All I recognized was the look in their eyes. Their hostile, mistrustful eyes.
What's that?
On the far side of the room was a small altar. Sitting on top was a photo of my mother.
Why is Mom's picture there?
I had a bad feeling about this.
Excuse me, but where are we? Why is my mother's picture up there?
Don't be stupid. This is your maternal grandparents' house. Now don't interrupt the funeral.
Funeral? You know, I think there's something wrong with him. I'm sure everything that happened has probably traumatized him. What happened? What are you talking about? Please tell me. Where's my mom? Where is she?
Calm down. Your mother is dead.
Mom's dead?
I couldn't believe it.
You're lying!
I didn't want to believe it.
How could she be dead? She was so
beautiful and kind and good at cooking. So protective of me. And I loved her dearly. But the last time I saw her, she was crying.
Man, he, like... How long did his original personality stay away during the whole, like, Wolf and Grandma, Snow White personality, like... Were those, like, the main personalities during that time, and he was just hidden away for most of it? Couldn't deal with the mom that turned cold?
Ugh. Mom! Mom! Ah!
After that, I went to live with people who were supposedly related to my mother. Later, I would learn that my mother was found dead in our house in the middle of winter. And apparently I was found living with her corpse. But oddly enough, I didn't remember any of it. When I went to the hospital, the doctor said I had dissociative amnesia, but I didn't really know what that meant. After that, there was another gap in my memory. The next thing I knew, I was at a house full of people I'd never met. It scared me so badly I ran away. But no matter how far I tried to run, I'd always wake up back at a house full of strangers.
Whoa. This is new.
You do nothing but cause trouble for other people.
Give him a break. He's an unloved orphan. Surely we can look after him for a little while.
I've been trying, but all he ever does is lie.
Every time my relatives shunted me around, I was forced to change schools. Be it at home or at school, I had nowhere to belong. I had very few memories of that period in my life.
Kaguya took the brunt of it.
The next thing I knew, I was lying on a hospital bed. Where am I?
Oh, you're awake. How are you feeling? Any pain anywhere?
It had happened again. Once again, I was talking to a soft-spoken woman whose name I didn't know.
You passed out at the lake. Do you remember that? You sure scared us. We woke up to find you gone, searched all over for you, and then we got a call from the hospital.
Hospital?
They ran some tests just in case, but couldn't find anything, so that's good.
What was so good about it. If everyone was going to treat me like a nutcase either way, then I would have preferred a proper diagnosis. With nowhere else to go, I accompanied the orphanage worker back to the bamboo house. But they treated me like a troublemaker there, too.
It's all your fault!
Out of nowhere, someone threw a book at me. What?
I know the whole story. That night, the two of you snuck out together.
Huh? What was he talking about?
You killed her!
I killed someone? Killed who?
Hey, that's enough!
But...
I don't remember.
Murderer!
Murderer?
Aw.
At this, I thought of my mother. I didn't know how she died, but she was most certainly dead. Apparently, I had been living with her corpse, though I didn't remember it. I was always so confused about that, but I tried my best not to think about it, because I was terrified of discovering that I was the one behind her death.
Ugh.
A moment later, I was overcome with intense nausea, and I puked right there on the spot.
That's snow.
A few days later, the concerned orphanage worker took me to the hospital.
Are you all right?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't like hospitals, and I was especially nervous to visit the psychiatric ward.
Alistair, I'm ready to see you now.
Right. Summoned by name, I entered the examination room. The psychiatrist was a middle-aged man, with glasses and graying hair. As I sat down on the stool, he looked up from the documents on his desk.
What brings you in today?
I'm sorry. I guess I'm a little nervous. The silence terrified me. Desperately, I searched for something to say.
From Wizard's root.
I tried to laugh it off, but I wasn't sure if it sounded natural.
What makes you feel nervous?
Well, I wasn't expecting him to ask. Instantly, my mind went blank. I needed to say something. Anything. Now. Now! But the words wouldn't come to mind. His steely gaze made me want to bolt.
According to your paperwork, it says your mind often wanders to the point that you lose track of time. Is that correct?
He noticed me fumbling and changed his question. Yes, I answered in a shaky voice.
How long has this been happening for you?
How long? I don't know. Ever since I can remember, One minute I'm at home, and then I'll find myself outside, or talking to someone I don't know.
Do these people seem to know you?
Yes.
I see. Please, continue.
In the process of answering his questions, my anxiety must have faded, because this time my mind stayed sharp. It's okay. He's a doctor. He's used to this stuff. It's okay if I make mistakes. For some reason, it feels like I'm dreaming. I know I'm awake, but sometimes I have these strangely vivid, lifelike experiences. I know it's not real, but sometimes I feel like crying, or my chest hurts. It feels like I'm reliving my memories, but from the perspective of someone who isn't me. Almost like I'm not really Alice anymore.
Do you ever find yourself in a place you don't recognize? Or find yourself injured and don't know how it happened?
Yes.
I see. Let me see your hand.
Okay. I did as requested. He lightly slapped my palm.
Did you feel that? Did it hurt?
Yeah.
Incidentally, how do the people in your life treat you? Has anyone ever told you you're acting like a different person?
Well,
Have you ever felt someone watching you from a dark doorway or somewhere just out of reach? Is there a dark shadow behind you?
how did he know all that? Yes.
All right then. I believe you may have a condition known as dissociative identity disorder.
Dissociative identity disorder.
As the name suggests, DID is a dissociative disorder wherein detached emotions and memories take on a personality of their own. In movies and books, they often use the term multiple personality disorder. Have you heard of it?
I have. So I have multiple personality disorder.
Well, I have yet to observe you in a dissociative state, so I can't be sure, but I think the likelihood is high.
It didn't really click.
Have you ever had a conversation with someone in your head?
No. Never. I lied on reflex. Not sure why I did that.
All right then. Can you recall any deeply unpleasant childhood memories regarding your parents? Has anyone ever struck you or touched you in a way that made you uncomfortable?
No, never.
I see. Very well.
All at once, I felt sick. He probably thought I was abused as a kid.
Generally, this condition is caused by intense mental stress during early childhood, severe bullying, or witnessing the death of a loved one. Those sorts of things can become a trigger for dissociation. But of course, there are other causes too.
I don't get it. I don't really understand.
What don't you understand?
It felt like he was judging me. My throat tightened. I keep having these lapses of memory, but I didn't even notice them at first.
When did you first start noticing your memories were missing?
The first time I really became aware of it was probably 2 years ago. One day, when I woke up, I was in a place I didn't recognize, surrounded by strangers. And my mother was gone. Then some guy I don't know told me she was dead.
I see now. That's enough. For today, I'll write you a prescription for some anti-anxiety pills. They should help you feel calm.
And create a new personality.
And as far as I can tell, that's what you need right now. At your next appointment, I'd like to run some tests if that's all right with you.
Tests?
Blood work, MRI, CT, maybe an EEG while we're at it. If you're worried about pain, don't be. When we draw your blood, you'll only feel a small pinch. Of course, if you'd prefer not to undergo the tests, you aren't required to. We can take this one step at a time, whenever you feel ready.
Okay.
Now then, could you go call in the social worker?
Okay. After my appointment ended and it was time to pay the fee, I walked out to the courtyard to clear my head. Multiple personality disorder didn't feel like it fit at first, but once I thought it over calmly, a lot of things started to make sense.
Ryoshi. I called him Snow White.
Snow White? Hey, Snow White! Huh? Just then, a man in a lab coat called out to me using a name I didn't recognize.
Long time no see. What brings you here?
The man had silver hair and pale blue eyes. But while he was taller and more distinctive looking than the average Japanese person, he seemed to speak my language fluently. If I had ever seen him at any point in my life before, surely I'd remember it.
I've been worried about you, but I didn't have any way to contact you. I never thought I'd bump into you here of all places, but... well, I'm just happy you're doing okay.
As he spoke, he placed a hand on my head. Look,
Huh?
This had happened to me several times now. In the past, it was always miserable for both of us. But starting today, things were going to be different. Now I knew I had a disorder. I think you have the wrong person. My name isn't Snow White. And I don't know you. As I shot him down, he looked back at me in alarm.
Alistair?
Oh. Just then, the social worker showed up, which was a huge relief. Anyway, sorry, but I have to go. I inclined my head to him and took off running. Poor Ryoshi. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine I'd encounter that man again.
But as fate would have it.
At my next appointment, I was officially diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder.
How do you feel? Are you encountering any problems in your daily life? How are things at the orphanage?
At the orphanage, the other kids all avoided me. No surprise there. Multiple personality disorder was something you saw in fiction, not real life. Whenever the adults were nice to me, the other kids saw it as special treatment for the pathological liar.
Do you have any friends there?
No.
I see. Alistair, I have a proposal. Would you be interested in committing yourself to our facilities here?
Huh?
I can help you.
Yeah, unfortunately your help was really bad.
And so, at the psychiatrist's suggestion, I had myself committed.
Right now, you are in a very dark place. It's so dark, you can't see a thing. You can't even tell how far you've walked or how much time has passed. No matter where you go, the scenery around you remains static and unchanging. It's like the darkness has consumed everything. All sense of direction, even the very concept of time itself. Were you to stand perfectly still and hold your breath, the only sound would be that of your own heartbeat.
Damn. So that's where that description came from, is the doctor, like, walking him through this. Interesting.
But for some reason, you can still see yourself in the dark. So you keep walking forward. Now, what can you see up ahead?
Nothing. It's pitch black.
Nothing. Thus far, I've established contact with your alternate personalities, but it appears the main personality is unable to speak to them.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. Nothing you need to apologize for.
The doctor treated me kindly. At first I thought he was a cold, unfeeling person, but over time that impression faded. Most importantly, he understood me better than anyone else. So I decided to go along with whatever he asked.
In most cases of DID, the patient has no memory of things the other personalities did.
So I can't meet with my other personalities.
The chances are slim. Tell me, how do you think someone identifies themselves? By having a continuous consciousness. Or, put more simply, the presence of ongoing memories. Dissociative identity disorder is caused by a malfunction in that system. But of course, you only have one body, so even when another personality is in control, your brain is still functional. Because of that, some memories may be shared by all personalities. According to your other personalities, your mind is comprised of separate rooms where they pass the time whenever they're not in control. Whenever they need to talk, they gather in the darkness.
The darkness.
The place I tried to guide you to.
Are they aware that we have DID?
No.
Why haven't you told them?
They each have their own problems. If they found out they're your personalities on top of that, who knows what they might do. Though they may seem like independent people operating outside of your memory, they are ultimately a manifestation of your emotions.
And that's why we had to send in our girl as a clone to, like, help them all out. So that, they don't want to take over, hopefully.
That night, I looked in the mirror for the first time in a long while. There I could see a blonde guy with a blue ribbon staring back at me. You are all a part of me. You've taken control of my body, my head, my entire life. And the truth is, you're all. Lurking inside me were versions of myself I didn't know. They had no self, but I had no confidence. Am I really me?
It's a good question, man. Like, how do you know you're the main personality, right? Like, how do you trust in that? Yeesh. Given that humans were highly adaptable creatures, I had picked up on this pattern fairly quickly. This time I landed on my feet. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That is until my legs buckled under me. Oh, I just realized we're probably in Gretel's route, aren't we? I mean, his world, not his route. We're done with his route, but I mean, I think we're in his world. Where am I? As far as I could tell, nothing much had changed. However... Kaguya? Kaguya! Kaguya! I knew it. He's not here. 1 minute I was holding hands with Kaguya, and now I wasn't. He had vanished just like Red Riding Hood. I wonder what awaits me in this world. As my heart raced with excitement and fear, someone suddenly called out from behind me. Well, you should err more on the side of fear, girl, if I'm correct. Yep, lots of fear. Lots of fear.
Eureka?
Gretel!
I was looking for you. What are you looking for down there on the ground?
I wanted to say, I'm looking for Alice. Do you have a microscope? But now wasn't really the time for hype jokes. Damn, roasted him. Instead, I got straight to the point. Say, Gretel, can I ask you a weird question? Are we by any chance currently dating? Gretel, however, ignored my question. He helped me to my feet and... Ow! Karate chopped me on the head.
Don't be absurd.
He shook his head at me in exasperation. Oh, sorry if I...
Of course we're dating. We have your family's approval and everything.
Knew it!
Knew what?
It seems like I'm moving through each world in order. Now I'm in a world where you're my boyfriend.
Eureka?
He frowned at me dubiously. This time I should probably cut to the chase. Chasing Alice, that is. Say, Gretel, do you know Alice?
Alice? What do you want with that blonde-haired gremlin?
I need to find him.
Ah, I see. Yes, he's so short, I imagine you'd need a microscope to find him.
Hey! I mean, he's not that short. Way to steal my joke, Gretel! Rude. Do you know where I can find him?
I don't. Why on earth are you searching for him?
Well, I really need to ask him something.
Is that so? Here, give me your hand.
He took my hand. Huh?
You want to look for Alice, right? Then I'll come with you.
Thank you. So helpful. As we walked, I scanned our surroundings. Once again, Gretel looked at me dubiously.
You seem oddly restless.
Well, I thought maybe he was tailing me again.
You're looking for him, but you think he's following you.
Well, if he doesn't want to be found, he might try to hide behind me, you know? It was a reasonable suspicion, especially after last time.
That does sound like something he'd try to pull.
Gretel nodded, smiling grimly. Come to think of it, I never asked any of these guys how they were connected to Alice. So how do you know Alice? Are you friends with him?
No, not particularly. We just know each other. One day he was just there. Not like we've spoken much. But somehow he seems to know me, and well enough to prod at all my emotional bruises.
Oh, wow. So, how would you describe him?
A sarcastic asshole with an oversized ego and a Napoleon complex.
Yeah. Interesting. Sounds like Alice, all right.
What are you smirking about?
Huh? I'm smirking? I pressed a hand to my mouth.
Yes, and it's an infuriatingly nasty smirk at that.
Huh. Weird. But I didn't have a mirror on me, so I couldn't check. Oh, what about me? Do I know Alice?
Why else would you be looking for him?
Good point, I guess. Beating around the bush was getting me nowhere. Maybe Eureka, Arisu, and I were two different people after all. But perhaps, like the others, Gretel would be willing to believe me. However...
Eureka?
Gretel suddenly addressed me in a serious voice, so I glanced over. He returned my look with a scowl.
I understand you're looking for him, but I should think it's bad manners to talk about another man in front of your boyfriend.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever. I don't really care.
This world's Eureka Arisu was currently dating Gretel. Surely, anyone would get upset if their beloved gushed about some other person. Even her. Gretel faced forward and showed no signs of commenting further. So far, each guy seemed a little different when he was the designated boyfriend, and Gretel was no exception. For the most part, their personalities stayed the same, but maybe it was the change in relationship that made them seem different. Or maybe each character came across differently based on who was that particular world's protagonist.
Well, Alice doesn't seem to be around.
Yeah, apparently not. We walked up and down the main street, but no sign of Alice. Based on past experience, I knew that the scope of our search was limited. The mansion, the lake, the cafe... Frankly, I could count all the locations on one hand. Should we go back home?
You don't want to keep looking?
Nah.
Alright then. Let's go back home where we belong.